What's up, team? Coach Melissa here, and I have a 30-minute full body recovery class, gentle stretch to unwind. Now, I know I'm not known for gentle things here at Tempo, but this class is meant to cool your whole body down, get some nice energy going for that nervous system, and get you ready to chill out, whether that's going to bed or just ending your workday and letting go of all that stress. This class does use about every prop you have. A blanket, a bolster would be really helpful. 2 yoga blocks would be great because we want to be able to relax into stretches and not feel uncomfortable. We'll take all that stuff with us to the ground, and we are going to start with breath work today. Now, I know that can feel a little woo-woo for some of us, but your breath and your body and your mind are so connected. So we're gonna start there, we're gonna get ourselves through it, and then we're gonna move into some gentle stretches. This class is going to make you feel very grounded. So let's do that. Coming down to the ground, I want you to find a nice comfortable seated position. Now that could be different for everyone. You can sit on a yoga block. A lot of us feel comfortable just lifting our glutes off the ground. In this position, the knees can be hanging, or we can have our knees back and behind us in more of like an ankle sit position. So wherever you are, I want you to get somewhere comfortable. And we're gonna take it nice and slow here. So first things first, I want you to just stop wiggling around, find somewhere you can sit still for 3 minutes. We can do that, right? Relaxing the shoulders down. If you feel comfortable letting your eyes close or just at least keeping them a little hazy, that'll be helpful. The shoulders are relaxed down, and we're taking nice, easy breaths, not overthinking it. Taking a moment to take the hands just around the rib cage, fingertips pointing in, shoulders relaxed down. And noticing where our breath is. And gently trying to inhale through those ribs, letting them expand, pulling the hands apart, and then exhale, drawing everything in, hands get a little closer. If we can focus on breathing through our nose, if there's no obstructions there. And if needed, exhaling through the mouth. Eventually closing and dropping those hands down, relaxing the shoulders. Giving one big out breath. And then let's start breathing together. So an inhale for 4. Hold it. Exhale for 4. And hold it. Inhale for 4. Hold it. Exhale for 4. And hold it. Continuing on 4. Expanding through those ribs, hold. Exhale, release. Feeling more grounded, loose. Inhale, 4. The ribs expand, shoulders come down, spine is longer. Exhale, 4. Let's try to make it a little longer. 6 counts here. Inhale, 6. Hold it. Exhale, 6. Hold it. Inhale, 6. Hold it. Exhale. Hold it. One more round, big inhale. Hold. Exhale. And hold. You can flutter your eyes open, let your breath come back to normal, wiggle around a little. Get some blood flowing if you need to, and we're gonna start simple here. Same seated position, we'll just get into our neck rolls. Moving the head gently, but trying to find places of tension so we can release it. We'll take the head over one shoulder, keeping the shoulders where they are, and then gently bringing it the other way. Side to side. want you to start moving as slowly as you can and noticing all the feelings that happen as you move. Whether it's the shoulders lifting up, the jaw clenching, the ribs lifting, bringing the chest back down, chin back to center, and starting shoulder rolls, just drawing up, back and around, navigating the space of the shoulder blades, letting the fingertips roll on the ground or the legs. Trying to get the shoulders to work together rather than independently. And keeping the breath as steady as you can, trying not to hold it. Take the shoulders back the other way. And let it go. Do whatever you need to release that neck. We'll move into spinal waves, grabbing onto the knees. We're gonna come in through the belly button, so really draw back, stretch that mid back, upper back. And then come forward, open up. If you need to change your seated position, go for it. But just nice and slow, thinking of kind of that cat-cow shape. Rolling forward, opening, expanding through the ribs, letting the chin lift, the shoulders pull back. Always thinking space and length. Compressing in here, just add space backwards and then opening up. Amazing, coming back to center. I'm gonna move my block here to get a more comfortable seat on the ground, but whatever works for you. Finding myself on the ground, nice tall spine, shoulders relaxed. One hand's gonna come to the side, roll that shoulder back, press the palm into the ground, other arm reaches up. And we're simply gonna reach over that side body and come on back to center. So imagine you have an invisible wall in front of you and behind you, and you're just trying to reach straight to the side. If the arm overhead causes any sensations that are not good for the shoulder, you can bring the hand behind your head or simply bring it around your waist. We'll do 2 more like this dynamically, adding that breath, that slow inhale and exhale. And on this last one, we're gonna hold it here. If it's comfortable, the hand can come behind the back, binding through, opening that shoulder and letting the neck hang nice and long. Last exhale. And let's draw ourselves up to center. Relax those shoulders out, shake out the wrists. Just taking note of any sensation that built there, and let's let it go for the other side. So finding that same seated position here. One hand comes down right outside the body, relax that shoulder down, ribs stay down. Press that palm, reach the arm up, and take a little reach over. Those invisible walls are back, but they're not here to stop you. They're here to help you, right? This is a positive wall in your life. Really thinking about length on that side body and taking the time you need in any space where you find tension. Wiggling the fingers, keeping that blood flow alive. And then coming into our last set here, reaching out. And if you have that bind, go for it. If the hand goes around the waist, that works, whatever you'd like here. Letting the neck be really long. Letting that shoulder pull back, the ribs are still in. The spine is long, although it's reaching. And then exhale as we come back to center. Okay, this one can be tricky and a different seating position is fine. Sitting on your hips, your heels, whatever. I like to stretch my ankles as much as possible, so I'll stay here. We're gonna go for eagle arms, so one arm under the other and then twisting, pulling those palms together. If that's not available to you, one arm over is perfectly fine. We're gonna hold it here and add an upper back stretch. So pulling the ribs in, arching back, and then lifting those elbows up, and then pulling them down. So from this side, just lifting up and pulling down. We'll stay on this side here. Turning those palms, squeezing the elbows together, lifting only as far as we can manage. One shoulder should feel much more warmth than the other. And on this last one, we're gonna hold it up and add little pulses with our breath here. So lift, lift. Pressing those shoulder blades back behind you, really filling that space in the mid-back, kind of like a turtle shell. 3, 2, big exhale, let it go. Whew. Sometimes building that heat is what we need to release it. So give some shoulder rolls here. And let's take the other side. So whatever you just did, flip it. And don't judge if they're different. Mine are very different, but the other shoulder will be leading now. So taking our time as we lift up, squeezing those forearms, elbows together. And although I won't guide it, trying to inhale and exhale at the same cadence or with the movement can really calm the brain down and make all of your movement feel a little bit more meditative. And if meditation is hard for you, it's hard for me. This works the same way. Just bringing your attention back to your breath, back to the movement. And staying intentional with your focus. Last one here, we're gonna hold it up and go for those pulses, lifting. Stretching back in the upper back into that turtle shell shape, pressing those palms together, getting that twist a little deeper for 3. And big exhale here, let it go. Whew. Reach it out. Okay, this is one of my favorite exercises for a lot of reasons, but it's very good for opening the hips before we work out and at the end of the day. So having one foot forward, turned out here, inner thigh facing forward, but the hips are nice and square, so we're not leaning. I'm gonna take my arm inside this thigh to make sure it doesn't drive forward, and then just lean that way. The more mobility we start to get, the deeper this will go. But for now, we're just gently rocking into that hip, pressing into the foot, getting a stretch in the ankle, and shifting our weight. Keeping the shoulders not pulled back, but nice and gently back, the ribs down, so no back bend here. And really letting this open hip get a nice big stretch by squeezing that back glute as well. Go ahead and switch. Take your time to get this leg back in. That was a big stretch. Now this hip tucks forward, so we've got a hip flexor extension here, and the opposite one goes. So the glute is squeezed on a leg that is stretching right now, right? Because we've got the opposite feeling here. When our hip flexors are extending these muscles in the front, our glute is contracted. So we can kind of use that knowledge to let energy go somewhere we want it to go and keep it out of something else. Trying not to hinge forward, keeping the neck long, and coming back to our breath, taking the time we need in each position. Ooh, could stay there all day. Give yourself some time as you come back, and let's find a V-shaped stretch. We're going to use our blocks for some of these, so keep them nearby, just to make it a little bit more comfortable. So wiggle out those knees for a second. Take a gander at your feet. Make sure they're not all the way in or all the way out, just straight up, so your laces would be facing you. And we have a soft bend in our knees, although our legs are straight, so we're not hyperextending them out here. We're going to take ourselves into a single leg V stretch. So shift your rib cage over one side, re-engage your hips down into the ground, and then just slowly bring those hands to either side of the leg. We're going to lift up gently in the chest, really expand the chest forward, then exhale, bring it forward with that expansion. Take note of where you feel the stretch. I get a big hamstring stretch here and a little stretch on the side body. And then I want you to kind of explore. So come side to side. Now, if this leg is starting to do crazy things, you can bend it. But I just want you kind of exploring a little side to side cobra with the expansion of the chest. If this feels okay, go ahead and just hold it here, reaching the arms a little forward. If you're super flexy bendy, you can take that block on behind your foot and hold it there, or for support on either side of the leg. We'll do one more breath here, coming all the way up, and to the other side. Shift the ribs, hips down, feet flex. Bring it forward and start to explore side to side. As you do that, keeping the other leg where it is, it's gonna wanna follow you. And noticing if the stretch is more intense on this side or less. It's less for me in my hamstring, but more in my hip, which makes sense. Opening the chest over that leg, adding blocks if you need to behind for an added stretch, something to hold on to and press the foot against, or blocks on either side of the leg just to hold there. Expanding the ribs forward, checking in with the other leg, keeping that toe up, so really getting these hips to stay open. And then let it go. Bringing ourselves to the center, wiggling those hips around, right into a little chest opener. We're just gonna bring our hands back behind us, lean back and open the chest, pushing the ribs forward, block behind you if you need a little bit more lift. Chin up, ribs really extending, pulling those elbows closer behind you, our extended big stretch. And exhale, let it go. Ooh, that felt good. So open the chest so we can come back forward. We're gonna wanna block for this one to support our head. We're gonna find that same pancake V shape. So toes up, hips are pulled out. We're gonna open and expand the chest forward. So the block's gonna help us with a little bit of distance here. What we don't wanna do is let the hips or the toes come in or out. So wherever you stop, stop there. The toes are forcing themselves to stay where they are by keeping this external rotation. We're opening the chest forward so it feels pretty intense, but we're trying to keep the energy through both hips at the same time. The ribs are shining forward, the head's shining forward for one more breath. And then we're gonna let it come forward and just hold it, either elbows, block under the head, however far you are. Keeping the stretch in the thighs. It should be pretty intense at this point, but we like this intensity so we can have that deep, deep release after. Big inhale to finish. Exhale, let it go. Holy inner thighs. All right, gentle cat-cow here. Coming onto all fours. If you like a little bit of a lift, this can be helpful for the wrists. If you like to go flat on the ground, that's fine too, but we pull all the way up, really drive those hips, pull, squeeze through the glutes, push into the blocks or the ground, and then exhale, unwind, really open up, letting that spine lengthen, pulling the elbows close to the body, connecting your breath and going as slow as you need to. And taking it side to side, up and down, moving that cat-cow, whatever you need to ease in, or just answer what your body is asking for. I'm always looking for a little extra twist. Things always feel a little knotted and muddy in my lower back. All the way under, nice and slow, taking your time. And giving our last breath to the last posture you want to hold. And coming down. If you'd like to continue with the blocks in the tabletop position, you may. Up to you. Hands underneath the shoulders, spreading the fingers. We're just going to take the hand behind the head. We know this one well. Opening through the T-spine, lifting out. And then elbow down to elbow, squeezing together. Big open. And nice squeeze. Letting things really rotate. And exhaling. Switching which arm leads, relax those shoulders, get your nice posture back, hand behind the head, and let's go. Again, trying to notice the sensations, where you feel certain things. Are there spaces you can look into? Are you holding tension places you don't need to? Last one here. And exhale. Go ahead and bring those hands down. We're going to push our hips back and find a child's pose. Wiggling side to side, letting those fingertips be nice and long. Shifting those hips, kind of massaging the hips with the belly, massaging the ribs, the shoulders. Getting a little bit of a rounded back here, pressing the tailbone towards the ground, tops of the feet towards the ground. Shifting slightly onto the fingertips, then curling the toes under, flexing the feet. Shift the weight back as you press the heels down, lift the hips up. We found a pipe shape. Walk yourself around for a moment. We're gonna go nice and slow from this position into our plank position and beyond. So pressing those hands, lifting the shoulders away, pressing through the heels as close as they get to the ground. We'll inhale as we come forward, find that plank position, drop the hips softly, open the chest. Curl the toes under, inhale, come back. Nice and slow. like you're moving through molasses here. Inhale, come forward. All the way open, take your time. Match your breath as needed, shifting one way or the other, opening the spine. All the way back. And one more here, all the way forward, really releasing anything holding on in that back and the shoulders and the neck. Head side to side. And letting it go. Coming back into the all fours position. We're gonna find a runner's lunge here, single leg. Start with the leg that gives you the most trouble. We'll take the foot in between the hands. Even out those shoulders for me. We're gonna straighten that back leg nice and long. And then you're gonna drop that back knee for me. Straighten the leg. And then drop that knee. Being gentle here, straighten to lift. You can use blocks for your hands here. All the way up. And then taking it down. From here, I want you to gently push your hips back. Let your hands follow. And then open the chest forward. Foot is flexed, same as the V position, soft knee but nice straight leg, pulling that hip back behind you. And then we'll inhale, walk the hands forward slightly, find that runner's lunge again. Bring it back and forth, connecting to your breath, letting the hands follow. And just thinking about keeping the hips open, the foot flat on the ground, the knee over ankle. And holding and deepening any moment that you need a little extra. All the way through. And last few seconds, hip back, chest forward, big stretch, toe pulls back. And let it go. Bring that foot back in, shake it all out, lower back, bring the other foot forward. Find some stillness for a second, hands on either side, blocks are totally okay here. And then tent the fingers or hands flat, whatever works, and let's open that hip, then bend the knee and drop it down. Start to notice as we do these contractions of the quads coming up, if that affects our balance or our hips start to move off center. Keeping things as even as you can. Leaning into the little bit of work here, knowing that little bit of work, that contraction, is gonna allow us to rest even more after. And on this last one, really squeezing, driving, finding stillness in the hips, then dropping that knee nice and soft, letting the hands follow you as you lean back. Even out those hips, pull the front leg hip back. Flex that foot, but don't overdo it. Keep the knee soft and the hips straight. And then gently with your breath, move forward. And move back. Taking more space and any shape that you need. And holding for that last hamstring stretch. And release, bring it forward. Resetting the spine for just a moment, knees or heels, whatever you need, just give that spine some love, so rolling it one way then the other. Really exaggerating kind of the tuck and then the push either way, letting the hips and the ribs be separate for a moment, then take it the other way. If you struggle to connect your hips, then sometimes it can help to try to isolate the ribs and just kind of think about it as an egg beater shape. Come forward and come back. And let's get a little deeper into the hips. We're gonna push one hip forward, reaching our arm down and opening up. We call this one kind of a half wild thing if you're familiar. So one foot forward, hips are square. I'm gonna bring my arm down to a block or to the ground, and then I'm gonna sweep and open my arms so my hips are still driving forward here. I've got my chest open. If I need a little break, I just come back. And then I sweep back up. Opening the chest as much as needed, as feels right. Closing it down. and opening it up. Squeezing that glute on the bent leg is going to help you with a little bit of balance and getting that hip to stretch again. And release it down. Switching, bent knee, straight leg. Arm comes down, block or ground. And first one I keep pretty small, I just open it up. Bring that hip forward, squeeze that glute. And then bring it down, sit back, bring everything down, and open up. Again, make this as big or small as feels good to you. This could also just be a seated side bend. If a little bit of balance or the shoulder doesn't feel right. Giving myself a nice big upper back, mid back stretch here as this hip flexor is getting a good stretch and this hip flexor is getting a great stretch. And go ahead and let it go. Whew. Coming into one of my favorites, but let's give ourselves time to get there. So coming all the way down, we're gonna rock and roll in the back, let the mid back go, the low back go, and then take one foot on top of the other. I'll actually switch for visual. We're in a figure 4 here. Now, if this is enough or this causes problems, stay here and just hang out and rock side to side. If you wanna come deeper with me, we're gonna go into a full twist. So bring the bottom of that foot down, shifting yourself so you have some leverage, and then gently getting into a position where you can press into the ground and that whole spine is twisting. Feels so good. Now this knee I like to drive out and then press my bottom knee down so I can get some good contraction there. Take a big deep breath as you do that, trying to lengthen the spine and then try to let it go. If you notice contractions coming in your body or something feels tense, try to wait to squeeze that area, squeeze that glute, that knee, and then let it go. Sometimes your body just needs a little attention to unwind. Last breath here. And let it go, never enough time. Roll gently back to center, wiggle it out, feel connected to the ground, and then ankle over. Press that knee gently out and go ahead and drop that foot to the ground. So full twist here, getting to a comfortable position, pressing this knee gently away from the body. And hands can be down, they can be in a goalpost position, whatever feels right, and the head can be side to side or straight up. Trying to open this top hip as you relax the bottom hip down. So we're getting a big deep stretch. Only pushing as much as is comfortable. And knowing you can add more or less depending on where you are. Settling into the last few breaths, really letting the ribs expand, the shoulders relax, and then that twist to take hold. Letting go here, finding your center. We're gonna do 2 rounds of a bridge. It's up to you if you want to use a block for support or if you feel comfortable bridging. We're gonna take our feet close to our glutes and then start to lift your hips here. Slowly bringing the hands underneath the back, maybe clasping the hands, and then pressing those hips up, pressing into the big toe, the baby toe. Trying to lengthen through the low back. So don't let the hips come toward the face. They're kind of pushing up and away. The knees are pressing away from the body. We're pressing into the feet. We're squeezing those glutes up. We're expanding through this front side body. We'll take a nice break here, roll it down. Wiggle it side to side. And then one more, bringing the hands underneath the back, slowly and gently opening up. Squeeze those glutes up. Wiggle the hands underneath. Big release for that low back. And then exhale, let it go. All right, from here, just windshield wiper those knees side to side. So really let that lower back fully let go. And we're gonna have some time to get into a nice, comfortable posture. And then hang out and breathe together for a few minutes. So stay here for a moment. Wiggle out whatever you need to wiggle out. And then draw the knees to the chest and hold in for me. Make a little circle one way. and then the other. And I've always said I'm jealous that yoga has added a cool down into every workout so you can just reflect. And I think it's something missing in other modalities. We work so hard and then we just run right out of the room on to the next thing and never really celebrate what we've done. So we're gonna take that in today. I want you to find a posture that's comfortable to you, whatever that might be. I'm gonna set up my little blocks here. I'm gonna lay on them, okay? So if you have a towel or if you have anything, a blanket, that can work. I'm gonna use my bigger little pillow here and then another one as support to just support my back and lay back. Whatever you like works. So you can lay flat. I'm also a lay flatter, but for this, I'm going to be open and expanding, okay? So this is a really supported position for me. I like it. My low back gets to release a little bit and I feel like I can really let go. So find your way into a position that feels good. You feel supported and you feel like you can shut your eyes and just relax for a moment. As you're getting there, and there's no rush, you can take your time, starting to connect to your breath again. And if you struggle with connecting to your breath, I do, I really do. I find connecting to a sensation can be easier for me. So whether that's focusing on actually feeling the breath go in and out of your nose, or feeling your shirt lift up and down as your ribs expand, and just letting yourself come back to that feeling or that sensation whenever you start to kind of drift away. We'll take these next few moments to start to inhale for 4. Hold it. And exhale for 4. Holding it. Continuing this slow box breath. Your count, your timing. Starting to do a little head to toe release. So thinking about the tip of the head, the scalp, just letting all the tension there drip down. Through the ears, down the forehead, the eyes, the jaw muscles that we hold on so tight. Letting the lips and the chin just release. Moving down the neck that I know we hold too much tension in. Letting it just roll out of the neck, down the shoulders. And tension just travels down that rib cage, expanding more through the mid-back, down the biceps, the elbows, the forearms and wrists that we overuse but don't take enough care of. Tingling into the fingers, letting them fully release and get longer. The hips, the low back, seem like they never ever get a break. Letting the quads maybe squeeze and then really let go. The calves that hold on to way too much stress. Maybe we roll the ankles, wiggle the toes as we let the rest of that tension just drip down there. And come back to that box breathing, inhaling for 4. Hold it. Exhaling for 4. And hold it. And if we feel comfortable extending this just a few more seconds. And although my time with you is ending, if you have more time to spend, please continue slowing the breath, finding a position that you can just stay still in and let all that tension go. If you're with me, slowly wiggling the fingers, the toes, moving the head side to side, eventually supporting yourself to move to the side or up. Keeping the eyes gently closed or hazy. Wiggling the shoulders and the neck. And coming back to earth with me. That was so wonderful, and I hope you continue to take this time to release all of that big work you've done so you can come back and give it more. You deserve to take time for you, and I'm so happy you did it today. Clean up your space or stay a little longer, and I'll see you on the mat soon. Bye.